Peter Eliades with you. This is the update for Tuesday, October 9th. We apologize for the update getting on late this evening, but we were in town on business today and didn't get back until late, and so a lot of things had happened. We wanted to go over the charts. We're not as well prepared for this as we usually are for other ones, and not as well organized. So it's going to be kind of a hit and miss procedure for the things that we want you to see. First of all, I brought up this chart and I stopped it where it was yesterday. We talked about this chart yesterday. It's on the 27-minute charts. And I said sometimes second offset lines, that's this blue line right here, tell you what prices are going to do. They find resistance there. I try to copy down exactly what I said. So this is what I showed you in the last couple of bars yesterday. We had gotten above both offset lines, at least theoretically, confirming the projection to significantly higher prices. But then, in the last hour and a half yesterday, or 2 hours, look what happened. Below the second offset line, below it again, and on the very last bar, which had to head down with a greater descent, of greater slope to the downside, it did that too. And so I said, prices often tell you what, the offset line often tells you what prices are going to do. So keep an eye on this. And I did imply by that, I said, don't want to scare you, but this could be what happens in the morning tomorrow. Well, let's go back, or let's go forward, I should say, and bring today's action in here. So the last date would be today. I think there's a thing to say today. Where is that? Well, we'll put it in right here. The 8th, 08, October 8th, 2019. And voila. Look what happened. Bring this over more to the center of the screen. I told you we'd be plotting today without being prepared for this, but we didn't want to wait any longer and try and get all these things completely organized. We just wanted to show you what happened. Look at this. This is truly remarkable. And it's almost as if these lines, the prices know where the lines are. I mean, who would have bet that this midpoint of the line that we closed at yesterday would be matched in the first half hour of trading today? Let me zoom in on these lines and show you how remarkable this is. There's a light blue and a dark blue line. The dark blue line is the offset line. The light blue line actually moved from the closing bar yesterday, the mid-price, to the closing mid-price bar today. And for the first two periods today, almost heartbeat for heartbeat came down underneath there. That's more than a coincidence, folks. That shows you the incredible accuracy of these offsets and how important they are to prices. Now, there are some that would have you believe that this had something to do with China or Russia or impeachment or whatever. This is, I hesitate to say it, but it's the magic of the offset lines. This is what can happen. So I wanted to show you that because it's truly remarkable how those lines virtually sat on top of each other for the first few bars today, and we failed to get that confirmation of this upside projection here. But what happened after the first couple of bars today is also interesting. We did ultimately get above these two bars. Of course, the question becomes where that occurred, and the way the software is interpreting this, these projections are still in effect. 30-28-71, 30-51-50, because we don't have a time zone here where we've gone below both these offset lines, okay? So we have not invalidated those upside projections. We can do that rather quickly tomorrow. Simply go down below this lower offset line, which at the lowest point tomorrow will be around the 28.74 level. So if we have an hourly or a midpoint of these half-hour bars below that price of around 28.74, you can be pretty confident that that is invalidating the upside projection. But until or unless that happens, these things still remain in effect. Now, what this red line down here means is that there is a preliminary downside projection. That preliminary projection is because in this last half hour, 27 minutes actually of trading, the midpoint of the bar went below the first offset line. And if there's going to be a follow through, this should end up being the minimum downside projection. But it has not been confirmed as yet. You notice I keep telling you, either the upsides are given on a preliminary basis and not confirmed, or the downsides or the invalidations have been given on a preliminary basis but not confirmed. You need to penetrate both these offset lines in order to get a final projection. That doesn't guarantee you're going to get the price, but it increases the odds significantly. So this is where we are at the end of the day today. We made slightly lower lows than we did early in the morning. As far as the comparison with the recent lows, let's move the chart over a little bit. Oh, come on. Okay, now I'll just use my arrow. Thank you very much. Notice that we have not gone below this low that we saw on the 3rd, that low of 28.55. Today's low happened in the last half hour of trading and came in at 28.90.50, so it's still significantly higher than the low back here. So there's some things going on that, even though today might have been a frightful day for a lot of people, we have not invalidated this upside projection as yet. Let's take a look at some of the short-term charts. The shorter-term offsets, I should say, because this 27-minute is a short-term chart. Okay, in this move down, and this is the shortest offset, we got a projection. We met it and exceeded it a little bit. The next chart, this is the second smallest offset. Look at this. In the rally today, bingo, hit the projection on the nose, right in the middle of the projection bar. This was the high of the day, was hit by the projections, bingo. And now to the downside, we have a downside projection given as of the close today that is confirmed, and that calls for 28.81.35 to 28.87.44. So round those off to the nearest tick, because these are futures, not cash, and that's what the projections are calling for early tomorrow to be watching. Not necessarily early, just at any point tomorrow. As long as they remain below these offset lines, that projection will remain in effect. So we do have a downside projection, and again, let's take a look. So the lowest side of this projection is 28.81.35. We'll remind you that that's still, the low here is 28.55. So that projection still remains above the lowest low that we saw the other day. So this is the first thing to be watching for tomorrow, meeting of this projection. That doesn't mean that the downside ends there. Let's go to the next longer offset and see if we get any information there. Now, we're not going to get any lower crosses here because these things, notice again how this time they folded under the first offset line. This is a different offset than the one we first showed you. So, but you won't get any lower projections on this because there are no lines underneath it to do that. Now this shows us initially today coming down to the offset or to the projection box, and again later on in the day. This projection box shows a low side of 28.76.48, still above the low that we saw on October 3rd. So there's two downside projections. Write those down if you're interested. And this is the one we started out with, showing you this remarkable coincidence moving down. Now, as we said, tomorrow, if you see us going below the 28, on a bar basis, I would say to play it safe that you should insist that the market goes below about the 2860 level. If it does that for more than an hour or so, then you can be confident that this upside projection has been invalidated. But that has not occurred as yet. We could see it happen tomorrow. But we emphasize that until it happens, that projection remains in effect. Okay, we've given you some projections. We showed you how remarkably close that opening bar or two conformed to the offset line. And again, to me, that is a verification and a validation of these offsets, how sometimes exactly closely the market follows the offsets, realizing that moving above it or even sideways through it would confirm that projection. It failed to do that. So now we're waiting for tomorrow for more information. We've given you a couple of projections. We're sorry we're not quite as organized today as we usually try to be. But thanks for watching. Please, if you have not subscribed as yet, go to the lower right corner, the little red banner, and subscribe, and then press on the bell. That will tell you whenever a new update goes on. I know a lot of you may have waited a long time for this one today, but as soon as it gets online, you will be notified, and you'll be notified of any intraday updates we might do if you subscribe and press the notification bell. Thank you very much for watching. We'll talk to you tomorrow.